Hey guys, it is Captain Carvo here, and today we are back at it again with another video. And today's video is gonna be why JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3 Stardust Crusaders is kind of bad. Now, before we start kind of ripping into the show about why I don't like it or why it's just not good to watch, let's talk about some good things. Now, some good things. Some of the characters I like Cat Coin and Polynarf, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I'm very sorry. And Old Man Joseph, I really like their names. I really like the characters. I think they're fun to watch. I'm not really that much big of a fan of Iggy, Jotaro, and Abdul, but they're still fine. And the final 6 episodes are very, very good. I think they're some of the best episodes I've seen in JoJo so far. I'm about like halfway through Part 4. And the last 6 episodes of Part 3 are phenomenal. So, there's some plus right there. I also I kind of like the way they introduce stands, although I feel like it's still confusing and a little bit convoluted, so I don't think it's that great. But I guess without further ado, let's get into why Part 3 sucks. So the first thing why Part 3 sucks is Jotaro. Kujo. Now I don't like Jotaro that much because, I don't know, I don't find him very fun. He's cool and everything. I think his most favorite line is, I can't beat the blank out of you without getting closer. I think that might be his most iconic line. Or whatever. But I just don't like him as a character. He's not very fun to watch. He's cool and all, but he's not my favorite. Also, don't like here's probably going to be my biggest complaint with Part 3, is how long it is. Now, Part 2, I want to say, Part 2 was quite short. I think it was like 15 episodes, something around there, 16, somewhere around that range. It's kind of short, you know. I think it was a good spot. Its story was tightly knit, and it was quite fast-paced, and it was good. I did think it was better than Part 1, because Part 1 story was too fast-paced, so Part 2 kind of had a good rhythm. Now, how is Part 3's story paced? I think it's actually paced really poorly. Because it's 48 episodes, I believe, and for me, personally, that is far too long. I feel like the way Part 3 was paced was very poorly, and one of the ways that contributed to that poor pace is the Monster of the Week formula that we had to follow for a lot of episodes. And mainly the Monster of the Week formula is that an episode or 2 episodes in a row they'll fight one monster, and then they'll beat him, and basically nothing will have changed from that. And then they'll just rinse and repeat the whole cycle for a season or 2. Now this happened with these stand users, as how it would work is that they would fight a stand user for an episode. In that episode, they would beat the stand user, and then they would just keep on going. And it would be rinse and repeat. And even down later in Part 3, they start fighting stand users to where it takes up 2 to 3 episodes. So it just keeps on wasting your time. And it's just, it feels like it's just padding for episodes. And I really don't like that. So that's not very fun. Another thing I don't like is how Dio is utilized, as I feel like Dio could be much better utilized in this part, because he doesn't really show up much. Sure, in Part 1, Dio was the main antagonist. He was there a lot. Dio did not happen in Part 2, but Cars, Wamu, and ECDC were huge main antagonists. They were there a lot for Part 2, but Dio isn't really here much. He's mainly in the background saying like he's the big bad boss they're gonna finally have to get. And you only really get to see Dio for like the last 4 episodes, which sucks because he's such a cool character in those episodes. So I think it would have been much better to see him more and see him further developed. Where every time they beat stand user, Dio takes the reaction to it and then just like chuckles while he's killing people or something. That would have been cool. Maybe just get a whole episode of just Dio doing what he was doing before the Stardust Crusaders caught up with him. So I do think that's kind of dumb. Another problem I have with Part 3 is many of the minor antagonists. Now, there's two minor antagonists I liked. It's DRB, the one who was gambling and defeated Polynarf and Old Man Joseph, and Cool Ice, I believe his name was. DRB was just funny. Okay, I thought his 2 gambling episodes was actually the most fun I've had in JoJo Part 3 up to that point, before the Dio episodes. I think his most famous line is, "Go ahead, Mr. Joestar." I think that's actually quite funny, and I die whenever I watch that. And he was quite an intimidating threat. He was just fun to watch because it was gambling, it was unique. This was the only Monster of the Week thing I liked. And the other thing I liked, which I would not consider part of the Monster of the Week formula, because he was like Dio's right-hand man, is Cool Ice. Now, Cool Ice does some cool stuff. Okay, first off, he kills Abdul, spoiler alert, very sorry, and Iggy. So that's actually quite shocking. I did not expect them to die as soon as they did. And he just seemed really intimidating. He got mad when he even had just destroyed an image of Dio, which shows how far Dio's charming can go. And I did like that. I like how devoted he was to just like protecting Dio till until the sun went down. I like it. And when he died, it was probably one of Polnareff's best moments in the series so far for me. When he's like, "Go to hell, you," boom, and then he sprang to the sun. And I was like, wow, that's really good. But most of the other bosses, such as Whole Horse and Yeba, I guess she got a little bit more development than some other people. The baby, the fake captain, I guess, they weren't really good bosses. They were just there. And once again, with that Monster of the Week formula, where the monsters aren't really developed, it just felt like it was padding for time. So I didn't like that much. Also, don't like how they kept some characters out or just brought some characters in for no apparent reason. As Cat Coin. Cat Coin was out of the picture after he got blinded, but there was no reason, as he didn't learn anything while he was blinded. He didn't stay blind or anything. They just took him out for a couple episodes just to bring him back for the final fight against Dio. Why did they do that? I honestly don't know, as I feel like it was actually quite pointless. And Abdul died, well, he was supposed to die against Whole Horse, but the author brought him back just to really do nothing. And that actually confused me, because I feel like Abdul had a really good death against Whole Horse and Centerfold. I feel like he had a good death, gave Polnareff a good moment, and a better motive than just his sister to go avenge Abdul. However, he comes back. Apparently the bullet only grazed him, and they kept a secret from the audience and Polnareff, so I guess we wouldn't know, but they told everybody else, including Cat Coin. So I thought that was actually quite dumb. And the way they brought him back, he was just chilling on an island, just chilling, and okay, hey, we can pick up Abdul, that's cool. And even when Polnareff saw Abdul dressed as supposedly Abdul's father, they still didn't tell him hey, that's Abdul. Why didn't they tell him that? I don't know. At that point, it just seemed like they were trying to play a trick on him, and I thought it was kind of dumb. Also, don't like how some characters were introduced, such as Iggy showed up. Although Iggy overall is kind of cool, he just showed up out of nowhere. That was kind of silly. Cat Coin and Polnareff, they showed up out of nowhere. Once again, all the other the weeks showed up out of nowhere, so that kind of sucks, because I really wish they didn't. Just boom, pop out, I'm gonna fight you for an episode or two, and then you're gonna keep on moving on, which sucks. And back to the length of the part 3, I feel like it definitely could have been shortened down to around 20 episodes. If you take out a majority of the Villain of the Week episodes, I feel like that would have had the runtime much easier, as you can have the first couple episodes to set up the plot, and then maybe fight a stand user or two, fight some stand users for a couple episodes, and then meet Dio. I thought that would have been really well done. And also, one complaint that doesn't actually have to do with story, but it's just Jotaro's name is Kujo, and he's not a Joestar anymore. The Joestar line is now done, because at this point, we only know of Joseph's one kid, Holly. At this point, Holly is no longer a Joestar, so the Joestar line is going to die with Joseph. I actually think that sucks. And that actually makes me super upset. But overall, I'm fine with it. Also, one thing I'm kind of upset with is how stands are portrayed in this. Because stands, they're normally between each episode, stands are given the stand stats and how useful they'd be in such situations. And basically, it's if you have a good stand, you're going to be fine. But if you don't, you won't. Such as the baby, his stand was fine if you didn't go to sleep. But if you were smart like Cat Coin was and knew what he was doing, you were kind of screwed. That just sucks for circumstance. He did not have a good stand for a situation or whatnot. Also, Abdul's fire red when he was underwater, and that stand who can change into the bedrock. That was stupid, because it was just matter of circumstances. Abdul couldn't do anything, and I feel like stands are really portrayed in just luck of the draw and how good it will be, and I don't like that. As Whole Horse, once again, his stand isn't good. All he can do is shoot bullets. Even he says, I'm only good when I'm teamed up with other people, as he's not good by himself, so he can't really hit his shots there. And that's why I don't like stands as much. Now, I may grow to love them in part 4 and 5, but as of now, not so much. And that's one of the reasons I like Hamon better. As Hamon felt like he had to work for it, because Joseph and Caesar didn't work for him, and they got absolutely destroyed by the Pillarmen. And I do like that Joseph still uses Hamon from time to time, but even then. And back again with how stands are kind of dumb, Joseph's stand, it's not really good for combat, and when he tries to fight Dio, Dio's like, yeah, your stand's weak, and just sprays. I'm like, dang, okay. So for all we know, Joseph could have been trying to learn that stand, but no, it's just useless. He can't use it. He could have given an explanation on how Dio learned to use the stand more effectively than every other stand user in the world, but that's another point, I guess. And there also is some problems, like, why didn't Dio use his vampire abilities to kill Jotaro when they were fighting, such as shooting the lasers out of his eyes to shoot Jotaro in the head or something? That would have been a very effective and easy way to defeat Jotaro. Or why didn't Old Man Joseph try to teach anybody Hamon, because he knew Dio was a vampire? And I feel like even if he just taught them the most basic of Hamon, they could have covered the body in Hamon and be impervious to Dio trying to attack them. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of weird. I feel like it's kind of iffy most of Part 3. And like, to bring up some more points about Part 3, the openings are kind of cool. The animation for the most part is pretty good. The voice acting is pretty good. I guess it's fun, I guess. The first episodes are fine, and the motivation they have to go is pretty good. I mean, some bit silly, like Polnareff. He's only going like, man, Dio put a flashlight in my head. Even though I'm fine now, and he can't affect anything I do now, that annoyed me. Or like, Iggy's like, ooh, I'm mad at Dio because his henchmen hurt me. But Iggy didn't even have to go with Joestar in the first place to all the way to Dio. Why don't he could have gone? They leave, Iggy just stays in town and like walks back to New York or something. Why they didn't do that, I couldn't tell you. And once again, I feel like Abdul should have stayed dead, especially if they just killed Abdul right off the bat when he didn't accomplish anything. So they really brought him back for no reason. One of the reasons I feel like he should have stayed dead in the first place, and they should have never brought him back. But anyway, that's some of my problems with Part 3. I know I missed some stuff. I think Part 3 is okay overall. I probably get like a 5 out of 10. It's my least favorite part of JoJo so far. I'm in the middle of Part 4 once again. I figure Part 1 and Part 2 were much, much better than Part 3. I don't know. I just feel like Part 3 went on too long. It couldn't justify the amount of episodes it went on for. But anyway, tell me what y'all think of Part 3 down below. Do y'all think I'm just being overcritical on Part 3 and it's your favorite part and Jotaro's favorite Joseph, or what? Anyway, comment down below. And anyway, I hope I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.